everybody. Welcome to episode, let's call it 53 of The Rich Dickman Show. I am your host, and good news, I have been named official permanent host of The Rich Dickman Show. I am Rem. It is the first episode post-Huelhauser. Oh, it still stings. But we keep on going because I can't stop. Actually, I took a few days off of work this week. I've been off since Wednesday. It's currently Friday. And, God damn it, I get bored and I just want to do stuff. And I was texting Huel last night, see if he wanted to record. He said no. I was trying to get this stallion to come over today. And originally he was up for it, but then he said he couldn't. The plans got in the way, and it's raining like hell out here right now. So I don't blame him. But I did want to get down here and record something because, like I said, I'm bored. Kids are up there playing Super Mario World 3D. And I want to come down and share my thoughts this week on a couple things, namely Game of Thrones and Avengers Endgame. And I tell you what, that Avengers movie is fucking me up right now. So I will do that. I'll do that a little later. So those of you who haven't seen the movie can stop and come back and listen. I don't expect all of you listening to Game of Thrones. I'm going to keep it kind of short too. I've been debating whether or not to do a proper Game of Thrones show or not. And, when I was into the show, it was a lot of fun to sit there and talk, especially when Fit was around, and kind of talk about the show versus the books and what's going on. But ever since they got away from the books and they ran out of book material, it hasn't been the same. So what's kept me really from doing a Game of Thrones show is that I feel like I'd be too negative about it. I don't have a lot of good things to say. But we'll get to that in a few minutes. I just want to go over a couple things real quick. Of course, as always, it's richdickman.com for all your Rich Dickman needs. As we go forward here in the next couple weeks, I'll probably grab somebody like Ray or HDNB to come in on a regular basis and shoot the shit with me. I'd really like to do something more regular with the Stallion. There goes the water. It is early. I'm recording early tonight, so there's a lot of activity above me, so I apologize. My studio isn't as cool as the NFHC guys. Shout out to those dudes, Not for Human Consumption. I was just on their most recent episode 75, and they had me on early, so thank you all. Early in the show, not early for me. It was about 1:20 in the morning when I finally got on. There was some delays in getting started, accident on the highway, and they're also in Arizona, so it was a late night for sure. But I had a lot of fun and they were really cool. So thank you. Check it out. Episode 75, Not for Human Consumption. And you can find that anywhere. They even did a YouTube clip of me, which was very nice of them. All right. So richdickman.com. You can follow the show at Rich Dickman Show. Now that we're done with Avengers and all that stuff, I keep saying I'm going to do it. Get rid of the Remgar Twitter account, REMGHAR. And try to transition everything to the Rich Dickman account because I really need to get off that stupid Twitter. It's just everything's terrible. Everybody is terrible. No offense, you're all assholes, and every one of you is wrong. But what are we gonna do? I did get we'll do this in a second. All right. The shirts are still available. Amazon.com, search Rich Dickman. You get your slightly better than mediocre t-shirt. God damn it. This fucking text machine doesn't stop texting. Your El Abogado t-shirt or your Eat the Rich t-shirt and help a brother out. They're good shirts. Why not? Is that it? Is that all I want to say? I think so. All right. So we'll start here. This won't be a really long show unless I get rambly. I have no substances to abuse tonight. So I'm doing this one straight sober. I really got to stop drinking. I really didn't feel well at all last time. I don't know what it is. I like whiskey and I like bourbon a lot, but especially with me and the issues that I have down in my tummy, it's probably not a great mix. So, anyways, all right. So I got a voicemail. I asked for some questions and stuff, but I did get a voicemail and this one's fun. So I'm going to play this for you. Thank you. God bless you, young sir. Let's do it again. And Google actually translated that one perfectly. You're a butthead with the proper contraction. So thank you for your voicemail. I should probably bring up the Wikipedia, huh? So I can remember what happened in these Game of Thrones episodes. Jesus Christ. I bet you, this is fucking Randy too. He's bothering me. No, that wasn't Randy. Never mind, it was Ray. Okay. So the real reason that we're here, I did make a thing, and I'm debating whether I want to play that now, but that kind of spoils the movie. So maybe I'll wait till later. All right, so let's talk Game of Thrones. We're 2 episodes in to a 6-episode final season. The previous season was 7 episodes, I think. All right, so this is season 8 that we're in. Season 7 was season 6, 7, and 8 are all without book material. I think season 5 was able to scrub in a little bit of it, but season 6, 7, and 8 is when they're completely on their own. Benioff and Dave Weiss, Benioff, Dan and Dave. That's how Fit used to call them, Dan and Dave. And they're just like on their own for this. And if you notice, there's a big difference in the show. Well, actually, a lot of you probably don't notice because a lot of you still love the show. And you know what? Good. I'm glad. I'm glad you have something that you enjoy and that brings you happiness and joy and something to occupy your time with, and that you love the show. Great. God bless you. That's awesome. I won't begrudge you for that. But some of those same people said, hey, Rem, what do you think of the season? Well, so far it's better than the last one. Season 7 fucking sucked. Season 7 was terrible. Why? Well, sure, it looked nice. Some of the action was great. Yeah, absolutely. But you tell me how you get from Winterfell to Dragonstone, back to Winterfell, back past the wall, then back to Winterfell, all in a 1-week period. If you read the books, it's a 30-day journey from Winterfell to King's Landing, but yet we were doing that like in an evening. All right. Like we're hopping the Westeros 747 and just flying all over the goddamn country. So it really, that kind of stuff really took me out of it. There was that episode where Jon took his little band of merry men beyond the wall to go gather a White Walker to bring to Cersei, and they got surrounded by the dead. So they sent Gendry to run away and go get a raven and send help. So Gendry ran from beyond the wall where all the dead were, which probably isn't right against the wall, probably several miles further than the wall. Gendry ran, we'll call it a few miles, to the nearest town to get a raven, sent a raven to Dragonstone to tell Daenerys that they are in trouble. And then Daenerys flew back with her 3 dragons and started burning the dead. Okay, cool. Awesome visual. Right. And I understand why they did it, but that's impossible. It is absolutely impossible for Gendry to run several miles without getting caught, mind you, get a raven, have that raven fly to Dragonstone in a matter of minutes. And then Daenerys getting on her dragons and flying back there even quicker and burning the shit of all the dead people. It's like not even a day goes by. So it's that shit that kind of just threw me for a loop last season. We're not doing much better with the travel this season. And I fear there's nothing to show the passage of time. Okay. Episode 1, Jon and Daenerys arrive at Winterfell with their army. Awesome. Okay. We don't know how long it's been, but the last thing we saw was the wall falling down. And then Bran is telling them, yep, dead are on their way. We don't have much time. Oh, by the way, Daenerys, they have one of your dragons. What happens after that? You think the knowledge of the Night King having a zombie dragon would kind of freak everybody the fuck out, right? No, Jon and Dany go on a date. A few minutes later, the Umber Boy is murdered, and Beric Dondarrion and Tormund Giantsbane, they all show up at the house at the same time and see the Umber Boy murdered. And then 10 minutes after that, they arrive back in Winterfell. Listen, the travel, I get they have a story to tell. There has to be a better way of showing the passage of time, though. All right. Because the dead are marching, and from what they're telling you, the dead are going to be there in 20 minutes. All right. It could be several weeks before the dead get there, but they're not. And that's what it should be. It should be a couple weeks before they get there, because it's not a short distance between Eastwatch and Winterfell. It's not a short distance at all. But the show is making it seem like it is. And then at the same time, it's not. It's weird. It's such a weird thing that we're in. It takes right out of it. Oh, all my stuff went blank. I don't know why. Okay, there it is. So it kind of takes me out of it when I'm thinking of that. But the first episode was a nice, hey, welcome back. Here's everybody. Oh, by the way, we don't care about zombie dragons. Bran's waiting for a friend. So it was unmemorable. You know, for a 6-episode season, not that I want them to go full force. I understand that there needs to be pacing. I get that. But I don't know. It's just weird. It's like they're rushing to the end when there really isn't a need to rush to the end. I don't think. Then we get to the second episode. And I'm reading that a lot of people think this is one of the best episodes of Game of Thrones ever. And you know what? In a vacuum, I don't think they're wrong. I think it's some of the dialogue was better than it has been since they left the source material. It's, you know, the Jaime and the Bran meeting was neat. You know, Bran isn't Bran anymore, so he harbors no ill will, and he perfectly laid it out. He said, if you hadn't done what you did, I wouldn't be who I am, and you wouldn't be here who you are now. Oh, that makes sense. I get it. The Sansa and Dany bullshit, like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I never thought, listen, I'm not a big fan of Daenerys as a character. Sorry. I'm just not. I'm not a big fan of Jon Snow either. I think his character kind of sucks. It's just kind of like, you give me Robb Stark. I loved Robb Stark. Right. I loved Robb Stark, but Jon Snow is like, he wants no responsibility, but wants all the responsibility at the same time. You know, he doesn't want to be the king, but will gladly take up the mantle and then give it away as soon as he can. I mean, really think about it. You know, the North bent the knee to you, named you their king, and you just go give it up to the hot blonde down the street with dragons with no explanation other than the dead are coming. Well, I mean, you brought the dead to Cersei. Why not bring the dead to Winterfell just to show them, hey, you know, this shit's real. All right, we're about to get fucked up. If you don't, this isn't about kings and queens anymore. I mean, why did it take Tyrion to have to say that? And nobody's going to listen to Tyrion either. You think about what they did to Tyrion. When's the last time he had a good episode besides this most recent one? It was probably back in season 4. Yeah. So, you know, I'm watching the show. I'll be there to the end. I want to see the big battle. I want to see how they plan to end it. But, you know, I don't want to sound like a book snob. And by no means am I one. I've read each of the books once. And I did that between 2015 and the beginning of 2016. And I read them all. Good for me. Somebody once told me that they thought the books were a little too much for me. A little too beyond me. Like I'm some sort of fucking idiot, right? No, I'll show you, idiot. And so I read the books and I finished them before this person even finished the first book. So fuck off. But the books do a much better job of giving you insight into the characters, and mostly it's because it's all done in the first person. So you're right in the heads of these characters, and you're seeing their motivations and their desires and all that stuff, you know. Whereas in the show, you're being force-fed a narrative. You know, Dave and Dan need to get to the end, and they have 4 episodes left now, so we're just going to shove it all at you all at once. And it kind of takes some of the emotional weight out of it. Like, I don't think, you know, if Tyrion were to get his head chopped off, I don't think it's going to have the same emotional pull as it would have back in maybe season 4. You know, in season 4 when he was on trial for killing his father, and he gave that heartfelt speech, and you're like, Jesus Christ, I really hope Tyrion pulls through. How's he going to do this? You know, I'm really on his side. I'm rooting for him. Now it's just like, I don't care. They've made him look like a fool, and all that shit with Dany wanting to get rid of him, and then Jorah Mormont needing to convince her to keep him. I mean, they're planning a battle, right? They're planning the defense of Winterfell. And only one person in that room has successfully defended a city before, and his name was Tyrion Lannister. Sir Davos Seaworth was there, and he knows they couldn't get through at King's Landing back in episode 9 of season 2. And maybe he should defer to the imp and let him come up with a plan. But no, Dany is going to shove him in the crypts because his mind is better. Well, yeah, his mind is better. Let him plan the defense. Jon is going to go fucking run ahead. Oh, here's the other thing. They have dragons. There's still 2 dragons, and we know that fire is a great weapon against the dead. But the dragons are going to stay in reserve. And they're going to leave Bran out in the Godswood with Theon, of all fucking people. And they're going to use the dragons against Night King. After Bran already told you the Night King has a goddamn dragon. I feel like if I'm sitting in a room in my basement and I'm talking with a couple of friends, I think I can come up with something makes a little more sense, you know? Like it's hard to convey my thoughts on this one because there's a lot of them, and trying to get them all out at once without having somebody here to bounce them off of. That's probably the failing of this solo podcast, is that I didn't bring somebody on, but I kind of did this spur of the moment. As I said, it's early, and I'm just jumping down here in the basement, my basement studio, at 10 of 9 at night on a Friday. But this season of Game of Thrones, it looks nice. It's great to see all the characters together and talking together and trying to work together. That's fun. They've really, the map, used to be all over the place, and they're showing that in the intros now. That they only show the Wall, the Winterfell, and King's Landing, and that's it, because that's where the story is now. Remember, we used to be all over the place, from the Wall all the way down to Dorne, over to Essos, but now it's just a couple places. It's a very small map now. Also, Jaime showing up at Winterfell 10 minutes after he left Cersei. I mean, come on. Yeah. If it wasn't for the first episode of the season and Robert's journey taking 30 days, and they never really established how long it takes to get places, maybe that would be better. But we know it takes forever to get. They don't have cars or planes. They do this on horseback and by foot, and they're just doing it like overnight. And that just drives me freaking crazy. To those of you who are enjoying the show, good. I'm glad. I hope it's a satisfying ending for all of you. And I hope you get everything you want out of these last 4 episodes. They're all extended runtime episodes, so that should help. And the spectacle is great. I'm sure we're going to have some awesome battles. We're going to see some dragons beat some, blow some shit up. The people who should get their comeuppance probably will, because this is a TV show now. It's not like in the books and you kind of leave you hanging. They got to wrap everything up. They want you going home. The Hogan must pose, as they say in wrestling. So I have no fear for the lives of Jon or Dany or Sansa. I think they'll be fine. Some of your bit players might eat a bullet, not a bullet, eat a Valyrian steel. Nope. Eat a zombie bone. It's going to be good. This next episode's going to be fun, though. Not good, fun. Where it's finally the battle of Winterfell. And, we're going to see some shit, Why they don't have the dragons just like strafing fire on these fucking dead animals and like right away. It's just mind boggling. They should be flying the dragons around now and just burning through their ranks. But no, we're going to leave them up in the mountain. They can eat goats. And we'll wait for the Night King to come. Makes no sense. Like, I'm not a military strategist or anything, but so they were able to get the dragon glass. They know the dragon glass and Valyrian steel works, and they know fire works. But let's hold the fire in the back with the things that fly, and nobody else has any other flying things except the Night King, but we don't see him flying around yet. Speaking of that, why has the Night King just like showed up with his dragon and just like burned his blue cold fire on Winterfell? Maybe that's coming. All right. So we'll see what happens on this 3rd episode here. The problem with the Game of Thrones podcast is that Game of Thrones airs on a Sunday at 9:00 my time. In order to do a podcast and get it out to everybody in time, I would have to record almost immediately after the episode airs and then release it soon after the next day. Because you guys don't want to hear a Game of Thrones podcast a Saturday before you watch the episode. It's going to be irrelevant at that point. So I was talking with Ray about this. Maybe he offered to try to edit an episode. Maybe he will. We'll see. But I don't think I want to podcast about a show I'm not in love with at 10:30 at night on a Sunday. You know what I mean? Like I'm not into it that much. But I'll stick with it to the end because I started it. Can you believe the show is as old as it is now? Like, we just had our first Arya sex scene, and that was weird. That was really weird. I saw rumors that maybe she was wearing like a bodysuit or something. I didn't care enough to look to see if that was true. I just read a rumor somewhere and left it with that. But, this is Arya. She's a little girl back in 2011. And now she's like getting it on in Winterfell. It's just weird. It's I don't know what it is with the writers of the show, but like as soon as somebody turns 18, let's put them in a sex scene. It's kind of weird to me, especially since Maisie Williams did like a couple Doctor Who episodes. Granted, they weren't very good Doctor Who episodes because it was Maisie Williams and all I saw was Arya Stark. But whatever. I don't know how you guys felt about that, but I found it weird. I did not like it. Yeah. All right. We can move on. Oh, wait, no. Svensson asked a question. Hold on a second. I do have to pull this one up because I did ask for questions. Let's see. If this could... Oh, we've got a whole bunch of stuff going on here. All right. Let's see. Svensson asks, your pick on if there will be a throne in the end. If so, who do you want to sit on it and who do you think will? All right. That's a good question. Thank you, Svensson. Do I think there will be a throne in the end? No, I do not. I think the throne represents a lot of stuff that people want to move away from, a lot of bad stuff. The throne comes with a bloody history. Aerys Targaryen burned people alive in their armor. Burned the Starks. Yeah. Just recently, all the shit Joffrey did and all the stuff Cersei's doing. If you read any of the history of the thrones, there were some terrible, terrible rulers in Westeros. There's some good ones as well. I think what it represents though is that, it represents power and power and the corruption of power. And if this keep my everything keeps going dark on me. I don't know why. The throne represents power and the corruption of power. And I think if they are to depose Cersei, I think they're going to realize this is just going to keep happening if we keep having one ruler. So I think they'll probably find a way to unite the Seven Kingdoms and everybody is on like a Senate or a council or some shit. And you know who's going to be in charge? It's not going to be Jon Snow because that guy sucks. It won't be Daenerys because when she realizes she has no right to the throne, what's her mission in life? She's going to go have a baby with Jon Snow. It's going to be Sansa. Sansa. I believe Sansa will be part of the, let's call it a ruling council of Westeros. And, Nadnerb says he's sad about Huel being dead. I'm sad too. All right. So, yeah, I think, to be honest, I think the ending is going to be underwhelming. I mean, obviously, you can't. How many times has any show or movie really, stuck the landing? Remember Lost? I tried for a long time to convince myself that I liked the ending of Lost. Think about it now. I didn't. The ending of Lost blew. That was terrible. It was just fucking terrible. But yeah, I don't have any faith in the writers here to pull this one off. I don't think it's going to be satisfying for everybody, and those who are hardcore book fans. I don't think they're going to be satisfied either. I mean, you think about it. As of book 5, like Stannis is still alive, and Stannis really is the rightful heir to the throne because it was a Baratheon throne, and he is Robert's oldest brother. It should be his. So, Stannis is alive in the books. There's a lot of things going on in the books that just never happened in the show. So there's a lot more. So it won't be satisfying. It'll probably be something stupid, or somebody, A Song of Ice and Fire is going to be a book somebody wrote about all the events that all ever happened. It's going to be dumb. I think maybe it'll be cool. Maybe the dragons will just like fuck everything up and it'll just be a land of ice zombies, the living lose, right? Like The Walking Dead. The secret is the dead are the people who are still alive. Ooh. Or we'll have some nonsense where it wasn't about the journey, but the friends we made along the way. Okay, let's get into it now. All right, this is why I'm really here. Because I saw this movie today. Spoilers, okay? Spoilers ahead. If you have not seen Avengers Endgame, pause. Go see Avengers Endgame. Make sure you pee a bunch of times before you go to the theater. It's a 3-hour movie. And then come back and listen. Okay, you back? Awesome. All right, so I went to see Avengers Endgame. I went to a 9:45 showing, 9:45 a.m. this morning. I went to go see this movie. It's a 3-hour movie. I drank all my water last night. and I did not drink more than a sip of water this morning. And I peed a bunch of times. I peed right before I left. I peed right before I got into the theater. And an hour into the movie, I had to pee again. When I got out, man, I had a lot to urinate. I don't know where it came from. I hadn't drank anything. Really good movie. I put together a little thing here because several years ago, we did the Jules Bot special on Torn Think Tank. And if you remember, if you were a listener of Torn Think Tank, the Jules Bot was kind of an ongoing saga where myself and Marconin and some other people, we put together our own little bits about what Jules Bot was. And there's a whole story progressing. And for episode 100, we brought it all home. Myself, John and Ben from Azeroth Roundtable, we wrote a script and we recorded lines. We got people involved to record their own lines. Marconin produced it all and put together a 3-part Jules Bot saga finale. And well, here, this is how it was all solved. This is how we fixed the Jules Bot saga. So, this is how Azeroth dies. How the great Remgar of Think Tank, wielder of great stamina, meets his untimely end.
Well, we do have one option, but you're not gonna like it.
What? Tell me.
We could... Nah.
Tell me!
Rem, what if time travel?
Oh.
Warning. Jules Bot will self-destruct in 1 minute.
Are you serious? Do you not realize that time travel is the biggest scapegoat plot device ever created? People just use it as a lazy excuse to kill off seemingly important characters or make things way more dramatic than they have any right to be, just so somebody can wave their magic time travel wand and make it all better. It's lazy storytelling, I tell ya. What, should we just all forget that my raid team was decimated? That I just lost my soulmate and occasional lover? That guy down in the foot is going to be extra dead in a minute here?
What?
I can't stand time travel, Marconin. It takes away permanence and replaces it with shock value. It's dumb. And frankly, I want no part in it. Not then, not now, and not ever. We can come up with another way. There has to be another way. A less stupid, tropey way. We owe it to ourselves and to our listening audience.
It's not technically time travel. I mean, think alternate timeline.
I'm gonna stab you with the exploding hyperfusion core.
Just put a dress on it! It'll be fine!
Oh, that's right. I remember that. That's when Coltrane dropped off Jules Bot. Now I just need to wait for the right moment to destroy it. Ah, damn. Sounding just like Trelant.
Well, now that Coltrane is gone, I guess it's time to go back inside and put in those upgrades I found. Shot-infused Jules Bot.
It was me? I infused Jules Bot with Sha energy? For some reason I thought it was goblins. Wow, you'd think my memory would have been better than this. I suck. Nah. Just kidding, I'm great. Now go introduce me to myself.
Hello?
Yeah, tell me about it.
Time travel? Are you kidding me? I hate time travel. Do you not realize that time travel is the biggest scapegoat?
Shut up. I already said that.
See? It's bull like that right there.
I don't know I don't remember what got me on the time travel kick, but this was a thing that was going on. Something had happened. There was a movie. I can't. Oh man, I wish I could remember. But I had really strong feelings about time travel, outside of Doctor Who, back then, and so it became kind of a joke here. When we were writing that whole thing, that time travel would be what saved the universe. But essentially, what you just heard, that's a couple things I clipped together from the Jules Bot special. You can go to episode 100 or 101 of Torn Think Tank to listen to the whole thing. 101 kind of brings it does bring all of the Jules Bot episodes into one big one big podcast where I talk about them and explain them all. But basically, what you just heard is Avengers Endgame, and it's also X-Men Days of Future Past. We go back in time, we change things, and we don't really affect the current reality somehow. All right. Time travel issues aside, I love the movie. All right. It was 3 hours. It was great. All right. It was, see, with Infinity War, when Infinity War ended and the snap happened and everybody disappeared, that was shocking. All right. It was shocking to see everybody just kind of dust like that, but I knew that Endgame was coming. I knew a new Spider-Man was coming. So you knew this would be undone somehow. The question would be how. And as we're going along and during the production between the two movies, you saw that time, the quantum realm. Ant-Man got stuck in the quantum realm, and there might be some issues with time travel there. That time travel would probably play a fairly not insignificant part of this movie. And I was right. There is time travel in this movie, and they use it in such a way where you get to, it's kind of a love letter to all of the MCU films. Not all of them, some of them, where you get to go back and revisit these scenes, and you get to see what happens after they capture Loki in Avengers, the first one, and some extra stuff with Thor and his mother from the second Thor movie. But there are issues with time travel. And they try to explain it away during the movie of saying, yeah, but we're just creating alternate realities. But if we bring everything back to where it was, it wouldn't create the alternate reality. Well, if you did that in the first place, you never changed anything. So what's happening? Movie was great. All right. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed every second of it. I even tried to forget about the time travel parts of it. All right. Seeing, the despair and them trying to move on, but then realizing there's a plan. And then, listen, I've always been a big fan of Captain America. I love the guy. He's always, we can do this, whatever it takes, all that bullshit. It was an emotionally draining movie. I came out of there and it fucked me up. I was tired. I wanted to sleep all day. I wanted to hug somebody because I really needed to hug somebody because this was it. This is the end, right? The past 10 years, we've known this Marvel Cinematic Universe from Iron Man all the way up until Endgame here. We've come to know these characters. We've seen them in a variety of different movies and different struggles and how they grew. And when we've come to love them, they're our favorite characters. And it's all over now. I mean, it's going to move on. But it's going to be different. Let's talk about the big points here. Fucking Iron Man. Iron Man's dead. And I've never been that attached to Iron Man. I was a Captain America guy. But Iron Man, do you remember Avengers Age of Ultron? And you're watching that movie and Hawkeye, you meet his family and Hawkeye is like getting into all these really close situations. You're thinking, oh my God, they're going to kill Hawkeye in this movie. Hawkeye's going to die in this movie. And he doesn't. And he makes it through and Quicksilver dies, right? Well, they kind of do that with Tony Stark. Not to the extent though, what happens here is that, 23 days after the snap, they all get back together and they said, we're going to go after Thanos. We know where he is. And they show up on his farm and they discover that Thanos has destroyed the Infinity Stones. And then Thor chops his head off. Then we jump 5 years into the future and the world is just a wreck, right? Because half the population's gone. So, all those people who used to be there to clean up the garbage, well, a lot of them aren't there anymore. And others like, well, what's the point of living? Half of the universe is gone. My loved ones are gone. Why? It's very, very sad. But they, Scott Lang, Ant-Man, shows up. He gets out of the quantum realm and he's only there for 5 hours, but it was 5 years in real life. And, they discover that perhaps they can use some sort of time travel and collect these stones before they were ever taken and snap everybody back into existence. So they devise a plan. They go back in time. They go to three teams, 6 stones, 3 teams or some shit. There's 3 stones in New York at a certain time. And then they got the stone in Vormir and they have, the stone on Morag. Where's that other one? Oh, and they have the one that's in Asgard, the Aether. And they have 3 of them. And So they split up and, they eventually get all the stones. But, here is tricky part number one, is that when they're trying to retrieve the Power Stone, basically it gets dropped and Loki picks it up and he disappears. So there is now a pocket universe where Loki has the Power Stone. He was never stopped. And they take the stone from Morag. That's the one that Quill got at the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one. And even though they put it back, what happens is Thanos and Gamora and Nebula from 2014 show up in 2019. But our Gamora is dead. So, basically, Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one never happens. It never happens because by the time all the events of Guardians of the Galaxy number 1 happens, Thanos is already dead. They kill Thanos in this movie. They do kill him. I'll tell you how in a second. So there's a couple different plot holes, maybe, but I'm sure they've planned ahead. It kind of felt weird. It kind of felt too convenient, right? I don't want to shit on the movie because I really enjoyed it. Just some of the time travel stuff just felt a little convenient. But that's nothing compared to, they make their own gauntlet. They put all the stones on it. They snap everybody back, which is great. Everybody's back and they're still 5 years in the future. So all these people who've been gone for 5 years suddenly show up. I'd really like to see more of that. All of a sudden, you have what was 7 billion. So you have 3.5 billion people just show back up after 5 years of getting used to, half of that probably got to present his own problems, I believe. Anyways, they snap everybody back. And, at the end there, Thanos from 2014, he comes into 2019 with the help of old Nebula. So he time travels 2014 Thanos, 2014 Gamora, 2014 Nebula, and all 2014 Thanos stuff. They all come into 2019. There's this huge battle. They blow up the Avengers compound, big, massive battle. And you have Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor all fighting him. Fucking Captain America picks up Mjolnir and starts beating the shit out of Thanos with Mjolnir, which was awesome. Like people started clapping when Captain did that. And that was great. That was like wow, holy shit. But as in all movies, they fall back and Thanos gets the upper hand and all his armies all show up ready to fight. Then all of a sudden, all the heroes are snapped back into existence and Doctor Strange knew this was going to happen all along. He portals everybody, all the armies from Infinity War. There's even Ravagers there. There's like every freaking good guy army you could imagine from the MCU shows up. and they have this big epic battle and it's really well done. It's a lot of fun. And at the end, they're trying to get the gauntlet they made and all the stones. They need to get them back to the past and away from Thanos. But they fail at that. They can't get the time machine, the quantum machine to work right. So now they have to try to kill Thanos. And what happens is Tony Stark puts on the Infinity Gauntlet that he made and he snaps his fingers. No, he didn't. No, Thanos put it on and then Tony took the stones away from him, put him back on his Iron Man armor, snapped his fingers and dusted Thanos and everybody associated with Thanos. For some reason, he didn't dust Gamora though. I don't know he wouldn't even know who Gamora is, but he didn't dust Gamora. But she was anyways, don't think about it. And they win, but doing that kills Iron Man. He has a few minutes. Pepper comes over because she was in the rescue armor and, says, we're going to be okay, Tony. You can rest now. And then he dies and it's super sad. And like I heard people crying up in the rows behind me. If I wasn't such an emotionless asshole, I probably would have cried too. I'll tell you what really started to get me is like seeing Captain America. He says, Avengers assemble. Like I got all the chills and stuff. And, there's a lot of good, fun emotions in that movie. So that stuff, that was really cool. There was a big battle. Everybody kind of participated. You would have liked to see more out of like your Guardians and, Bucky and all that stuff, but I understand why this isn't a Bucky movie. It's not a Guardians movie. It's Avengers movie. And who are your Avengers really? It's Captain America, Thor, Iron Man. Yeah, that's the team. Oh, Black Widow's dead. Yeah, she sacrifices herself to get the Soul Stone. But you think if they're grabbing all these stones in the past, Thanos never has a chance to get them in the future. So that should have kind of stopped everything in a minute. But they make a point of saying doing stuff in the past doesn't affect the future, which I don't believe at all. I mean, I've seen the butterfly effect. There's no way something can happen in the past that doesn't affect the future, but stop it with the time travel stuff, bro. At the end of the movie, they use Captain America to go back and drop off all the stones at the points in time. But he decides not to come back, and he lives to be an old man and marries Peggy Carter and gives his shield to Sam Wilson, Falcon, as the new Captain America. I was hoping it would be Bucky, but I get it. I understand why. And, I mean, essentially that's the end of the movie, right? That's kind of it. That's it. For some reason, they nerfed the Hulk, right? The Hulk and Bruce Banner are like the same person now. So it's like Professor Hulk. So, you get Bruce Banner, then 5 years later, it's Hulk as Bruce Banner. He's talking and chatting. He's just a big green Bruce Banner. And I don't know why, he originally, he snapped everybody back into existence and it kind of fucked up his arm. But he really didn't do much fighting in the final battle. It's kind of like a big wimp. That was weird. I don't like that they nerfed the Hulk like that, but I kind of understand why they have to do it. Let's talk about Captain Marvel real quick. Captain Marvel is the worst character in the MCU. The absolute worst. After the movie Captain Marvel, I was thinking, man, they have a Superman problem here. She's too powerful. So they did a good job of handling that. She wasn't there. She wasn't there. She showed up. She rescued Tony and Nebula, brought them back to Earth. She disappeared. And then at the end of the movie, she showed up again and blew up Thanos' ship. And Thanos got a really good, hit on her. With one of the stones. And that was it. But, she didn't do shit. She didn't do anything. And she had a nasty attitude, and I didn't like her haircut. Her haircut was terrible. Now, Valkyrie, played by Tessa Thompson, she was back in this movie. Now, where did the Asgardians come from? I thought they were all dead. I thought they all got killed in Infinity War. But there's a whole, new Asgard on Earth. And Korg and the little knifey guy, they're all there. But give me Valkyrie, because she's fucking awesome. I love Valkyrie. She should be the Captain Marvel person, not Captain Marvel. Brie Larson sucks. Okay, that's enough. Captain Marvel. Ant-Man was great. I love the Ant-Man stuff. And they were able to maintain a level of comedy where you're not laughing through the whole film, but there's moments of levity when you really need them. So it was really good. It was a lot of fun. I need to see it again. I wish it wasn't 3 hours long because that's a big time commitment. I was out of the theater. It was almost 1:00 when I finally left. I spent 5 minutes taking a pee afterwards. But, it was a good movie. And it's sad though. It's sad now that you didn't have to kill Iron Man. I get it. It's more, you're going for the emotional gut punch, right? So you feel something. And that's what screwed me up the rest of the day. And that's kind of why I'm doing this podcast. I need to talk about it. I just need to get my thoughts out there. But God damn it, you don't have to kill everybody, right? Because he had a daughter. And the reason he didn't want to help with the time travel in the first place, because he didn't want to lose his daughter. So he said, promise, we'll bring everybody back to now. We're not going to screw up the last 5 years because there's no way that I'm giving up my wife, Pepper, and my daughter. That's not going to happen. So they did that, but then they killed Tony. They killed him. And I get it. He saved the universe. He saved the world. He defeated Thanos. Good. He's a hero. Awesome. But he didn't need to die. They could have kept him alive, barely. He could have lost an arm or two. Something. Could have been something. You didn't have to kill him. Okay? He could have just retired. But they killed him, and that sucks. I hate my heroes having to die. Then Captain America. He goes back in time to bring all the stones back. But then he stops and he finds Peggy again and they get married and they have a life. And oh my God, talk about not affecting the future. If he and Peggy get married and he knows that Hydra is involved in S.H.I.E.L.D., is he involved in taking down Hydra within S.H.I.E.L.D.? And if so, then the things in Winter Soldier never happen. And then we don't get to where we are now. Here we are. We're screwing with the past. So even if they lived in hiding, Peggy Carter knowing that Captain America was alive, and there's no way he's not going to tell her that there's Hydra involved in S.H.I.E.L.D., right? Oh, it opens up so much. It leaves them. If they wanted to do another Captain America movie, they're not going to because I think Chris Evans is done, but they totally could. They could do it like a 1950s or 1960s spy thriller. with Captain America and Peggy Carter. They could do that stuff now. It's just, there's a lot that time travel's tricky. Here, let me give you Avengers Endgame without having to do any time travel. Okay. Here's my scenario. Thanos does a snap. Thanos tries to destroy the Infinity Stones, but he can't because they're Infinity Stones, right? The word infinity is in the name. And as soon as he tries to destroy them, they kind of disperse throughout the universe, right? So now, somehow Rocket or Nebula sees these energy signatures in different parts of the galaxy, and they go on a hunt to find these stones, kind of reverse what Thanos did in Infinity War. So while they're going to try to find the stones, Thanos realizes this. Oh, it's like, oh shit, I need to stop these people from finding those stones and reversing what I did. So it's basically Infinity War, but in reverse this time. That way we can stay away from the time travel, and the Avengers can go pick up the stones. You can lose some along the way, and maybe Thanos gets one or two, and they have one big battle. They take all the stones back from Thanos, and snap, everybody comes back to life. That way you don't screw up. You don't screw with timelines. You don't get all the little messy things here and there with time travel. And I don't know. I think the reverse of what we saw in Infinity War could be an interesting concept. But I'm not a movie writer. So I'm just in my basement rambling about things that I want to see. Like on the YouTube. Hey guys, Rem here, and we're going to be playing Infinity War. The new Avengers game for the Xbox 360. Is that even a thing? Xbox 360? I don't know. But the time travel just bugs me, and I'm going to think about it too much. And hopefully by sitting down here and talking about it and giving you my thoughts, I can get that out of my head and I'll be able to sleep tonight. Yep. Sounds like a plan. All right. So who's dead? Iron Man's dead. Black Widow is dead. Even though they're doing a movie about Black Widow in a couple years, she's dead. Our version of Gamora is dead still, and Vision is dead still. Loki, our version of Loki's dead, but in 2012, Loki picked the Tesseract back up and disappeared. And I think they're doing like a Loki series on Disney Plus. I think I read that. They're also doing a Wanda, Scarlet Witch and Vision series on Disney Plus as well, but Vision's dead, so I don't know how that's going to work. Maybe, it's comic books, right? You can do comic book timelines at any time of the universe or reality or multiverse or pocket dimension. I'm thinking about it too much. I shouldn't think about it too much. All right. So, that's my spoiler-filled review of Endgame. Really liked it. I will see it again. I don't know if I'm going to watch Infinity War tonight, but it kind of renders... No, it doesn't. I was about to say it renders Infinity War meaningless. It doesn't, because there are still permanent deaths there. And you knew everybody would come back anyways. I'm curious to see how the new Spider-Man film is going to be, because now if you've seen any of the trailers, you saw there's a scene where Spider-Man looks over into his closet and sees the suit Tony gave him just hanging up, and he kind of looks away sadly. That makes sense now, because he was there when Tony died. Man, I really would have liked to see like a Spider-Man and Iron Man movie. I really would have liked to seen that. We had that in Homecoming, but no, like a full-on Spider-Man teaming with Iron Man movie. Oh, well. Like a Captain America teaming with Iron Man movie, like that. What I really need in my life, and I'm not going to get it, but what I really need is a Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes, Rocket Raccoon buddy movie. I need that. I'm never going to see it, but that's what I need. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is going to be interesting because we don't have our Gamora anymore. She's dead, but we do have 2014 Gamora. And also Thor seems to have joined the Guardians of the Galaxy, calling them the Asgardians of the Galaxy. So we'll see how that one goes. That could be fun. Oh, here's another thing that was interesting. Is that if you remember, Thor didn't get funny until Ragnarok. All right. The first few versions of Thor were serious and boring and nobody liked him. But in Ragnarok and Infinity War, they changed Thor's character and he became funny. He became interesting, charismatic. He became fun. So when they go back to 2012, they have that version of Thor there, like that version of Thor who's being silly and like it's weird because that's not the Thor that we had in the first Avengers movie, but yet there he is. It was strange. If you've seen the movie, let me know what you think. If you notice that that bugged me too. All the things that shouldn't bug me, they do. Angry Rem. That's right. It must be the Angry Rem show. Angry Rem Dickman. Okay. I think that'll do it for now. I'm probably going to get together with somebody later next week. And we'll do a pod of something. We'll see how episode 3 of Game of Thrones goes. If I need to talk with HDNB about that or not. But yeah, no, it's been good. Thank you for your feedback, from Huel's last episode. I know it was kind of sad, kind of the end of the era. And, if you think about it, the episode 52 is a lot like Avengers Endgame. One of us died and one of us grew old. It's basically the same movie. I wish, we kind of didn't all go out on bad feet a couple years ago. 'Cause man, I think like if Marcona and I could have kept producing things, that would have been a lot of fun. Because I just hearing all that stuff again was it was fun to hear again. That was fun to write and fun to produce. Oh well. Again, it's go to episode 101 of Torn Think Tank and you get all my productions, all my scripts, all Marconan's productions, all my scripts, and I think Ro did one of his own as well. You can check that out. All right. That's enough of me rambling. Again, I started this. Yeah. Thank you for your feedback from last week. Yes, Huel's gone. Huel won't be coming back. But we will move forward with something for a little while. And, if I get bored or I just don't like what I'm doing anymore, I can stop. I have no commitments. But if you like hearing my voice, let me know things that you want to hear. If you want to, more reviews and stuff, you just want me talking about bullshit that happens during the week. You know me, I certainly don't mind complaining about things. I'll find something to complain about. Yeah, we'll keep going. Just as Captain said, whatever it takes. Go see the movie. All right. Really go. Well, no, if you got this far, you've seen it already, right? Go see it again. It's really good, man. I love those superhero movies. I love watching all that stuff. Okay. Here's another complaint real quick. I'm thinking about it. The movie was muddy. Like the colors were muddy. Like it was a dark movie. Everything was gray. And when they blew up the Avengers compound, it looked like an alien world. That was weird. Like all the worlds all end up looking the same because it's so muddy. We were on Earth and there was a lake and a lot of green grass and all of a sudden everything was brown and looked like Mars. It's weird. Like the color in the MCU. They gotta do a better job with color, I guess. Like I'm colorblind, but I can tell bright colors from not bright colors. Everything's just muddy. I went alone, by the way. I did go alone. Picked up my seat. I had a seat buddy. Some man of Hispanic descent sat next to me. A large gentleman. He was very friendly. He said hi. And he was one of those guys who snores while you're awake. I had to check and see that he wasn't sleeping. In this place, they remodeled this whole theater, which is nice. A beautiful theater. And they serve alcohol. And he had a beer with him at 9:45 in the morning. Good for you, sir. Good for you. All right. Thanks for listening. Oh, let me do this thing. I'm going to do this one so I don't do any editing. Nope. Shit. That's the wrong one. Live. It's a live podcast. Live. All right. So you can follow the show at Rich Dickman Show on Twitter. You can follow me at Remgar, REMGHAR. And you got my buddy Ray at Jules Winfeld, producer Ryan at Ryan TRDS, and you got Randy at Sir Zero. RichDickman.com for all your Rich Dickman needs. Go to Amazon.com. Search Rich Dickman. Go ahead and get yourself a t-shirt. They're good t-shirts. Really nice. My wife just texted me. She's like, hey, what's this? And I said, oh, that's the money we got for selling t-shirts. All that money goes to charity. Me, my charity. Helps keep the podcast going. I really like movies. Maybe I'll do some more like movie reviews. People seem to like those. I know that when I see a movie like Endgame, I need to hear people talking about it. I need to talk about it with other people. This was good. I'll be able to sleep tonight. Thanks for listening.